Good afternoon, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a queso sourdough loaf. So I am doing cheddar, cheese, and some rotel. So first we're going to start by mixing our dough together, and then once we get to that second stretch and fold, we're going to add our cheese and rotel into that sourdough loaf. We're gonna start by adding 50 grams of our active sourdough starter. I fed it this morning and you can see that it is more than doubled in size, so she is ready to go. This Dough Mama starter is available on my website. If you're interested in getting started in your own sourdough journey, you can be up and running within 3 to 5 days with a rehydrated Dough Mama. From here, I'm adding 375 grams of warm filtered water. I'm gonna add 10 grams of my pink Himalayan sea salt. And I'm gonna give this a good mix and dissolve all of that starter in there. Central Millings organic artisan bread flour that I'm adding. I buy it in 50-pound bags from Azure Standard, and they just deliver it in my area, and we pick it up once a month. They have other options. You don't have to do 50 pounds. Then we're gonna mix this again. Once we've incorporated all of that flour and water, we're gonna cover and let this sit for 1 hour. And we'll be back. All right, it is time for our first stretch and fold. Remember, you want wet hands when you do these. Just gonna pick up the dough, fold it over, turn the bowl. The dough starts to stick to your hands, just wet your hands again. I like to go around twice and get really good stretches in my dough. And when it gets a little too hard to fold over, all you have to do is fold that bottom side down and then carefully lift it up, stretch, and fold. Then we're gonna cover and let it sit for 30 minutes again. And when we come back, we are gonna be starting to add our rotel and cheddar cheese. We are back for our second stretch and fold, and from here we are going to add our rotel and our raw cheddar. So I took the rotel and I drained it and then dried it with a towel just to take out some of that moisture because we don't want to add any more moisture into our bread. So with wet hands, I'm going to lift up one side of the dough and hold it. And in this, I'm going to just toss in some of my Rotel and a handful of cheddar. And then I'm gonna fold over the dough. I'm gonna pick up the second side and repeat. Throw in some tomatoes from that Rotel, tomatoes and green chilies, I think is what's in it. A little bit of cheddar. I just got this raw cheddar from my Azure pickup, my flour pickup, and this cheddar is amazing. Like, I was like, wow. Actually getting decent quality cheddar makes a big difference. Again, just throwing in some tomatoes and a handful of that cheese. And folding it in. One more side. And then I'm just gonna kind of coil fold it down. And then we're gonna cover and let this sit for 30 minutes. We are back for our third stretch and fold. Normally I would do coil folds starting now, but because we have added inclusions, I'm gonna keep doing stretch and folds for this round. Doing all four sides again with some Rotel and cheddar. If there's like Rotel showing like there kind of is now, I'm gonna just add a little bit and then some more cheese because it already looks pretty well saturated. I'm so excited for this bread. And if you're wondering what I'm gonna put on top of it, you'll just have to wait. And our last side. And again, just giving it a little coil fold. I think I did all four sides. Okay, and then we're gonna cover and let that sit for 30 more minutes. Okay, we are back for our last stretch and fold, and I'm gonna kind of eyeball and see if I wanna add more cheese and Rotel or if I think it's okay. I feel like there's a lot in here, but I'm just gonna add a little more. Yeah, I'm not gonna add any more here. Okay, That should be interesting to see when it bakes. All right, and then we're just gonna cover, and I'm going to put it through its bulk rise, and we'll be back for that pre-shape. This is either gonna be really good or like really bad. All right, guys, it's been 4 hours. We've been letting our dough rest. I've had it on my handy dandy warming mat. This is some pizza dough, but this Bakehouse Essentials sent me a dough mat. This is the large one, and it cuts your like proofing time in half, which is super nice. So I've had it on this for about 4 hours. Now I'm gonna do my final shape, or my pre-shape, and then my final shape, and it will be ready to bake tomorrow. You can see it's got lots of bubbles. I'm interested to see how liquidy it's gonna be because of the Rotel, but falling clean out of the bowl, so that's a good sign. I never do inclusions before. Whoop. Just kind of folding this all in. I'm gonna flip it over. She's a little sticky. So I'm just giving it a little pre-shape. And I'm gonna set it off to the side. And I'm gonna let this sit for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back for our final shaping. Time has come for our final shaping. So we're just gonna take this. I'm actually gonna flip it upside down, and I'm gonna do a little envelope fold. And then do it a second time. Because it's so sticky, using my bench scraper, and then I give it one final little shaping. I'm just pushing it forward, tucking under, and pulling towards me nice and easy. And flip it top side down. And so it's all spread open at this point. So I'm gonna stitch it closed as gently as I can. I'm just giving it a little hold as I pull it closed. I'm hoping that because of these tomatoes, it's gonna work with me. This is why I don't like doing inclusions in the stretch and folds, because they always bust through. At least when you like add them towards the end, there's not as many busting through. But we'll see. Might still be great. I'm just kind of pushing the cheddar down. It's kind of popped through in some areas. All right, I'm gonna stop messing with it. All right, cover and we bake tomorrow. It's bake day for our Rotel and cheddar cheese sourdough loaf. So I'm gonna start by taking it out of the banneton and I'm gonna put it on my bread sling. Just place the bread sling down, flip it over. So if you see sourdough loaves that have like a lot of like white or flour on them, it's because they get the loaf wet before scoring. I'm just gonna get my hands wet and then just kind of touch the sourdough loaf everywhere. Can you lend me some parchment paper out, please? Smooth it around. I'm gonna do one deep score at a 45-degree angle. And I just kind of gonna go through it one more time. To give it that nice puff. And then I'm just gonna do a little wheat flour down the side. I don't get too creative. This is not me. Because this is kind of overflowing my bread mat and I don't want it to stick to my Dutch oven, I'm just gonna stick a parchment paper underneath it as well. Now I'm gonna get that Dutch oven out of the oven. I'm gonna place my loaf in there. And then we're gonna replace the lid. And then this is gonna go in the oven for 30 minutes at 500. Then we will take the lid off for the final 15 minutes and lower the temperature to 450. We are out of the oven. You can always temp your bread if you're unsure if it is done or not. You want the internal temp to be between 200 and 210 degrees. So just pop it right in the middle. And mine is right at 210. She's a beaut, Clark. Is that what they say? Uh-oh. So we're gonna let this cool. It didn't puff up as much as I would have loved to see it puff up, but that could have also been because I rushed the bulk rise with the heated mat. And it could also be because of the tomatoes and the rotel that's in it, but I'm sure the inside's gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna let this cool while my dinner finishes baking, and then we're gonna cut into this and eat it with our dinner. All right, the time has come. My dinner's ready, and I wanna know what this bread is like. I did not let it cool for the minimum hour that most people recommend, which is okay. It's not the end of the world. Oh my God. It's beautiful. Look how fluffy. It smells amazing. There's nothing better than like warm bread fresh out the oven. So I know the like sourdough culture. Look at that cheese. Oh my God. I don't know if you can actually see. Sourdough is like very big into waiting for it to cool, which you should most of the time. But oh my God. And try a bite. Oh my God, it's so fucking
Mmm.
Bite. Oh my god, so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serving it with stuffed peppers to it. It's gonna be so good. You need to make your Rotel sourdough. ASAP. Tag me in it. Let me know what you think if you make it. Yeah, that was one of the best loaves. It's got, and if you do the spicy Rotel, it'll have like a little bit of a spice to it. I got just the regular Rotel, and it does have a little spice in it, so I can taste it in the tomatoes. It's so good. Happy baking.
And yummy.
It's
So
so soft.
like melty and delicious too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely say eating hot bread when the cheese is all melty, like don't do yourself the disservice. But great even distribution in the bread.